Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In today's video, I want to share with you a theory that I have about why different types of magic work best with different types of people, or something along those lines. But listen, the first thing I want to say is I have not heard this theory about magic, or I haven't read about it anywhere else. But one thing I know for sure is that when an idea comes to humanity, it comes to more than one person. And so a lot of times people will say, you know, I was the first person to say this, or I started this, or this was my idea. But the truth is, we're all pulling information from the same universal pool of data. Like, there's only one cosmic universe, right? So if you have the right intellectual software, I like to call it that, then that information will come to you to share with humanity. Like, information about how to perform heart surgery is not going to come to me because I haven't gone to medical school. I don't know anything about heart surgery. But to people who have that information, they will receive like these new technologies and these new methods that is the downloads from the cosmos. So I'm going to say I haven't read this, I haven't seen it anywhere, I haven't heard about it anywhere, but I'm quite sure somebody else is probably thinking, oh my God, I had the same idea, or it's my thought. And I understand that because that's just how it works. So I have a theory that the human body, humans have an aura, right? And the aura has 7 layers of energetic bodies. And I want to just talk briefly about what those 7 layers are. And I believe that different types of magic work best with different layers of the human aura based on the blockages and attachments, or debris, or whatever issues that are going on with that person in that particular layer. And I think this is why sometimes people may say they're not getting results, but because one layer of their aura may need to there may be a blockage, right? So maybe they may need to work with a different type of magic. So here we go. I know this is so interesting. So first of all, I'm open to discussion. I love intellectual, what's the word I like to call, like intellectual exchange. It's my thing, okay? So I'm letting Nerdy Cassandra out tonight. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just, if you have any thoughts or ideas that you would like to contribute, or just why you think this is a crazy idea, I would just love to hear it in the comment box below. But let me just go ahead and just talk briefly about the 7 bodies, just to pull everybody on the same page, and then why I think certain types of magic work best. So we have 7 layers to the human aura, right? And they all they're like the best thing what I'm thinking about, those Russian dolls, and they extend out, and the 7th layer it vibrates at a higher speed. The energy is pure. I want to say it's pure, but it vibrates at a higher frequency, and it spins faster. So I'm going to just start just briefly. The first layer of the aura is called the etheric body. And this body, it's about 2 inches from your body, right? About 2 inches from your physical body. And this is where Reiki masters, acupuncture, also, this is where gemstones work. Now, I'm a gemstone girl. I love a good gemstone. I remember when I first used Petersite. Petersite is a gemstone. And I remember I purchased it and I put it around my neck. And I almost fainted. Like, I became so light. And this Petersite cleansed my energy to such a degree, I would never forget this as long as I live. I've never had this reaction. Oh, except for I think it's called Moldavite, which is it's a, I don't want to say it's a gemstone, but it's a crystal that comes from another planet. And I think, anyway, I had a reaction with that as well. But with Petersite, when I put it around my neck, I'll never forget. I was so dizzy, and when I was driving home, it was like I couldn't concentrate. It was almost like the gemstone, this necklace was putting me into a trance, into a coma, into a sleep. I went home. I drove home with wearing the Petersite, and I slept for like, it was like early in the afternoon. I remember it was maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock, but I slept until the very next day, and it was just the deepest sleep of my life. And when I woke up, I cleaned my house from top to bottom, and I couldn't stop cleaning. I couldn't stop cleaning, and I couldn't stop crying. It was all from that Petersite. I would never forget it. So the etheric body, the first layer, 2 inches from our body. They say when people say they can see your aura, they're actually looking at your etheric body, and that most people could be trained to see this. So remember Reiki, acupuncture, the physical type, healing that people do. This is where, it's 2 inches from your body. It's an exact duplicate of the physical body. It includes your muscles and your organs, the whole, like in terms of the image or this subtle energy body. It moves slow because it's close to the body, and this is where a lot of energy workers and a lot of people receive healing. The second layer, so the first layer is about 1 or 2 inches away from your body. Your second energy layer of your aura is the emotional. It's the emotional body, and this contains, of course, all of your fears and your depression, anxiety, insomnia, your bliss, your desires, your joy. Like if you are having difficulty in relationships where you're like very volatile, or you're argumentative, or nothing is working out, or you just you're losing your mind, and you have all of these emotions attached to maybe something that happened to you during childhood, or you just don't understand why you're just so emotional. But you have an emotional body, and the emotional body is like the color of the rainbow, and it changes with your moods. Now, for the etheric body, the first body, the color, I think they say it is like a bluish gray, or it's like a pretty blue when a person is healthy. And so for some people, I don't know if you guys may know about this, but there's a blue ray that sometimes people call in this blue ray to heal their body. And so this light colored blue helps with with your etheric body. Now the third layer is your mental body, and this body contains, and this is an energetic layer in your aura, and it is let me see, the first one is like 1 to 2 inches, then it's like 3 inches, and the next one I think it's about 4 to 6 inches. So just extending out from your physical body. Now, your mental body contains your beliefs about life, your cognitive abilities, how you process data, your generational beliefs, the information that has been passed down to you from your family, whether or not you believe in angels or aliens, or this is your belief system. This is your cognitive area. I like to call it your psychological software, where you retain your data, when you read, when you do research, when you learn new information. This is your mental body. So sometimes if a person is having difficulty making decisions or thinking about or learning new things, so just remember, you're learning how you process data. That is your mental body. It pretty much, is in the name itself. So those are the three bodies that are a part of the physical plane that's attached to your aura, that's extending out from your body. Now, the next layer is the astral body, which is, oh, and I forgot to tell you that each layer of your aura is attached to a particular chakra or chakra. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, y'all. Back in my day, they said do not pronounce the hard ch, and now people are saying pronounce the ch. So anyway, I don't want to confuse it with the chakra, because I just want to keep these two energies separate, for even though they all work together. Okay. Now, so the astral body is the part of your aura that allow you to travel outside of the physical realm. So you know how people say that they're like astral traveling, or they are, leaving their body like in their dream state. Like, this is where this body is located, right? And it's responsible for your relationships, like how you feel about, like if you I don't want to say if you receive a broken heart. If your heart is broken, it affects your astral body. But what strengthens it is the relationships as well. Like if you're in a really healthy, loving relationship, it strengthens your astral body. Your astral body is how you get along with other people, how you, your community, with the world, and so forth. The fifth body, it is the etheric template, etheric template body, and it is a duplicate of your etheric body, but in the cloud, in the spiritual realm. Some people say it is a carbon copy of your physical body. So it's called your etheric template body, and this is where, now the way I like to think of it is, as a doll maker, I create my own patterns for my dolls. This is my pattern where I make my changes, like where I actually draw the concept of the doll before I bring the doll into physical form. So everything exists in the spiritual realm before it manifests into the physical realm. So this is where they say that you determine your, what type of body you're going to have, your race, your eye color, your unique beauty, like what is you. This is the blueprint of who you are, right? The truth of who you are. This is your blueprint. That is your etheric template body. And this is responsible for your unique expression of your gifts and talents into the world. Now, the next layer is the celestial body. Your celestial body, oh my God. Oh, okay, Cassandra, keep it together. Now, this is my favorite, because your celestial body is where you, it's about, I think it's 5 feet or 6 feet, or, just imagine that each layer extends further and further away from your body, and it moves at a faster rate. So the 6th layer is your celestial body, and it is your connection with angels, and your spiritual team, your ancestors, like beings from other dimensions. Okay, so that's your creative ideas that come into fruition. Like when you get these ideas and you just like, oh my God, I have this wonderful idea that I want to write this song, or I want to create this product. It actually comes from this celestial, from your celestial body, from your connection with entities and beings and angels and spirits from different dimensions and realms. And then lastly, the 7th body is your causal body. And I think there's another name somebody called it. It's called the causal body, but it's also, or some people say it's the soul or the Catholic layer. But basically, this is the part of you that's connected to all there is, all that is connected to God. But it's the part of you that retains the essence of who you are from all of your different lifetimes. So when you do past life regressions, you access data from this seventh layer, which is about 6 to 8 feet away from your body. And they say when you die, this is the part of you that lives forever. Right? So interesting to me. Okay, so I don't want to really repeat that all over. So as you can see, we have an aura that contains all of our energetic bodies, and there are different layers, and they all extend, from the physical body. I'm making an argument. Now, what gave me this idea? Well, to be honest, I've been thinking along these lines for a while. But I wanted to tease the idea out a little bit more because someone left a comment saying, with the 72 Angels of Magick by Damon Brand. Let me see, did I bring my book with me? Yes, I have it here. And then there's the one with Adam Blackthorne. Basically, they wanted to know if I thought that the longer 11-day rituals were more potent or less potent than the quick, easy rituals in the book by Adam Blackthorne. Okay, I have my book. Secret Angel Magic. The rituals are much shorter. And with the 72 Angels of Magick, the rituals are 11 days. I'm going to make an argument that depending on which layers of your aura are blocked would determine how well, the length and time and depth that is needed for magic to work. And I'm also going to say that I believe different types of magic, not just angelic magic and working with spirits, which would work with the sixth layer, which is the celestial body. I think that for some people, if you don't believe in angels, if you don't believe in spirits, then you probably need to work with like hoodoo or voodoo or herbs and oils. I think those type of magical rituals will work best for you because of your belief systems located in your mental body. If you have a lot of emotional blockages where you really, I don't want to say you're an emotional wreck. I think you would have difficulty hearing the wisdom and the guidance of the celestial beings, if that makes sense. I have to share this story with you guys. So along my spiritual journey, at one point I had a spiritual director, and we would meditate together, and this is not about him, but I want to just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I had just started to get into gemstones. I would never forget this. The first time I put gemstones on all of my chakras, or chakras, whatever you want to call them, I remember seeing myself turn into like an amoeba, like the earliest or ancient cell. Okay, but it was just a profound experience. But it was my first time learning about gemstones. Prior to this, I didn't know that people bought gemstones and put them on their body or anything like this. But this is along the spiritual journey, And I remember after I put these gemstones on all over my body for each one of my chakras, I sat and I meditated. Now, when I was meditating, what came to me as loud as day, because at the time I had my own business. I was a outreach therapist. I had a contract with my state, and I was providing therapy to people in their homes. And anyway, so after, remember, this is my very first experience with gemstones and the meditation. So I'm meditating, and what came to me as clear as day after I started meditating was to stop spending money. Do not invest in this new copier machine that I was about to purchase, and to save my money, because the next phase of my journey did not include providing outreach therapy. I mean, it came to me as clear as day. You hear me? And I told myself, I was crying because I was, I had like people working for me, and this was my source of income. And I just thought, this is my very first time using gemstones on my, learning about chakras and gemstones and all this whole nine. And something is telling me, don't spend any more money. Don't buy this new copier machine, because the state is about to downsize, and smaller contractors are about to lose their contract. You're going to lose your contract, but don't worry. Conserve your resources, because you are moving on to another phase in your spiritual journey. Clear as day, guys. I started crying. I lost it. I was like, well, how am I supposed to tell my staff that, we're not going to have jobs, or how am I going to feed my kids? Like, what am I going to do for money? Like, I lost my cool. I remember crying. I was like, this is why, my mother told me to stay away from gemstones, and she told me I needed to get into church. This is a real story. And I'm just bawling my little heart out. So I call my spiritual director, and I tell him, I said, I was meditating and I put those stones on me, and it came to me that I'm going to lose my contract with the state and that I should save my money. I would never forget this as long as I live. He said to me, Cassandra, God doesn't talk to anybody. He's a spiritual director. I've gone to school to be a priest, and I've been in this field and all of this, And he said, God does not talk to people. He said, that is your fear talking to you. He said, you need to go ahead and buy that copier. You need to go ahead and send out those flyers, because I was sending out new flyers. He said, no, that's just fear. He said, God would never tell you something like that. So I listened to Mr. I don't want to say his name in case somebody know him. He calmed me down. He said, listen, don't believe that. That's rubbish. He told me that. I said, okay. I stopped crying, and I was just like really disturbed. I was like, why would God even tell me something like that, knowing this is my only source of income? He was like, that was probably not from God. It was just probably some benevolent source just trying to create fear in you, blah, blah, blah. I go ahead and I buy this copier. I spend all this money on marketing, on some new flyers to send out to the various agencies. And I promise you, when I was down to my last $1,000, I received a letter in the mail that said that my contract with the state was canceled, or I can't remember the exact word they used, but due to the state was downsizing, and all agencies with less than 100 staff were being eliminated, and that my contract was being eliminated for that reason. It had nothing to do with my work, but I had less than 100 people, and they was like, we're sorry for the inconvenience. I got that. I should have kept that letter. I got that letter, and I will never forget. It was like I almost had a heart attack at the mailbox. And I was just like, and I called my spiritual director and I said, but you told me it was rubbish. You told me God doesn't talk to people. And he just said, you know, maybe your negative, you know, emotions, you know, you brought this onto yourself. You manifested this because, you know, because of your fear. Guys, are you listening to me? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. That my ability to communicate with my spiritual team was shut down for years, decades maybe. When I started working with angelic magic, with the Gallery of Magic, this is the first time those gates had opened back up to me again. And this is when I was going through that thing I was telling you guys about, that I just don't want to put my business in the streets about. But I learned a valuable lesson. It was a painful lesson, but you know what? I didn't know if I should be angry with myself or with my spiritual director, but I'm gonna tell you what the lesson is. I wasn't ready for spiritual guidance. I wasn't ready because I didn't believe them. And I'm gonna tell you something. Something just happened recently where somebody was telling me, oh, don't trust this angel. This angel is leading you in the wrong direction. And I'm thinking to myself, it's a repeat. So if you're going to work with angelic magic, there has to be a level of trust that you have established with the universe, or your concept of God, or whoever you are, your belief system, to this guidance, this intuition. You have to be tapped in to be able to take advantage of this data. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a whole different type of magic. Then let me go get some herbs and put it in a mojo bag. This is I'm not saying the mojo bag doesn't work, and I'm not saying the voodoo dolls don't work. I'm not saying that anything doesn't work at all. What I am saying is that different types of magic deals with different types of problems, and depending on where your blockages are, you may need to work with one type of magic until you are moving yourself to another type or level of magic, if that makes sense. So I don't want to put my business in the streets, and y'all know I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to tell you something. I think that the 11-day rituals are very important if you are going through something. I wish I could tell you what I went through, because then you would understand, you would respect what I'm about to say. But I don't want to put my business in the streets. You need those 11 days, okay, to build that relationship with your spiritual team, with the angels. It's necessary. I'm telling you that what I went through, there is no way I could have worked with this book. It would have been this book works for me because I've done a lot of this work right here. I have relationships with these angels. They know me. We've been through. And not only that, I have worked with a lot of the in terms of the what do you call it, the etheric body. You name a gemstone, I can tell you all about it. What it worked with chakra, how to cleanse it, what to do with it, feng shui. I mean, I've been doing this for like about 40 years now, over 40 years now, right? So I'm able to hear the spiritual guidance. I'm able to access this guidance, and it is not that one is better than the other, or you have to earn your way to it. No, that's not true, because you may not have blockages. So this is the argument I'm going to make, guys. If you have blockages, let's just say in your etheric, I'm going to go with the emotional body and the mental body about marriage, right? And say you watch your parents have a tumultuous relationship and you were traumatized by it, and now you're looking for love. I think that your belief system that, oh, there's no good people out there, I can't trust anybody, nobody's ever going to marry me, all people are cheaters, people can't be trusted. If you have all those belief systems and you're working with angels and you're, I'm not, angelic magic, and you're thinking, oh, well, I don't understand why this isn't working, because you may need to work on your heart chakra. You may need to go to a Reiki master and work on your etheric body to open up some of your channels, and then like work with tapping. What do you call it? The when people, when you tap, maybe to get out to work on some of the emotional issues that you are still retaining in terms of what your parents went through in their marriage and how it has impacted your views about love. And then you need to update your mental body, your views about relationships and love, before you can even conceive what a healthy relationship is that you would even want to participate in. Does that make sense, guys? So now you've done your Reiki, you're doing your tapping, you're releasing all of these emotions, you're updating your belief system, you're working with gemstones, the energy of the crystals and the herbs and the spiritual baths. Now, this is where I think this all comes into work. And now you're going to work on the heart chakra, it's not the heart chakra, I'm sorry, it's the astral body, which is your connection with nature. And I think when you start working with the astral body, this is where the angelic magic really, like, you start opening the door. I would definitely say work with Words of Power by Damien Brand. Like, if you start feeling like, what, I'm ready to experience angelic assistance or assistance from other beings. I think then once you have updated your belief system to even know that there's a power out there, or that there's beings from other dimensions who are willing to help you, to assist you. Does that make sense? I would suggest Words of Power. But another book, which I want to do a book review on, is Magical Destiny, Working with Your Guardian Angel. I actually think you should work with that book first, but because I worked with it last, and it's just kind of changed everything about me. Working with my guardian angel, who I met a long time ago, but did not renew that relationship with until I read this book. But I don't know if people are ready for that, because sometimes people aren't ready to have a relationship with a being that you can't see, but you can feel and know that they're there. So I would say Words of Power. And then as you're working with Words of Power, and the reason I would say move from the herbs and the oils and the gemstone, not move from, because I think that I think magic is even more powerful when they all work together. But I think when you have a blockage or you have issues, you hate to use the word issues, it sounds so judgmental, but when you have so many emotional and psychological patterns and disappointments and just about a particular issue, these are the issues where I believe you should work on every layer. Moving from the etheric body, moving through the emotional body, the mental body, the astral body, the etheric template, where you work on expressing your unique self into this world. This is your blueprint of who you are, your carbon copy in the cloud. Now this is where, oh my God, this is where, to me, angelic magic is the most powerful, because as a doll maker, when I'm making a doll, if I correct the pattern, then it doesn't have to manifest into the actual doll itself, right? So sometimes, unfortunately, I have to make the doll to be able to see, oh yeah, her arms are too short, or I shouldn't use this type of fabric, or I need to tweak it. But angelic magic to me works really well with the etheric template, the celestial, and the causal body, which is working with, you know, your previous lifetimes, and that retain the essence of who you are, and allows you to use wisdom and intuition to bring about changes into this lifetime. I don't know if that makes sense or not, guys. But anyway, that is my little theory about how our aura has various layers, and different layers responds better to different types of magic depending on what your blockages are. I want to be clear about that, because if you don't have any blockages in a particular area, I don't think it matters what type of magic you use. I don't think it matters if you don't have blockages. But I think, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, I think that all people, and all, we know we're taught to never say all, so I'm gonna say 99.999% of people have some type of blockages, debris, tears, rips, attachments in the various layers of their aura, because I think we've incarnated onto this planet to evolve, to solve problems. And let me just say this. You know how when people create games, they always create obstacles in those games. There's always something to overcome. There's always some type of problem. Well, I think that when we create games, we are emulating the life process, or the process of reincarnation, or of how do I say this? So when people create a game, they don't say, oh, well, anything goes, right? You can just do whatever you want. Because if you can do whatever you want, then now the game isn't fun anymore. So it's the rules and the obstacles and the challenges. Even when authors write stories, there's like, oh my God, now what's going to happen next? Here's an obstacle. We are actually emulating the human experience. Our aura, to me, is our obstacle field of things that we need to work on and change in the physical environment. Does that make sense? So it's not a mistake. It's not that you have a, messed up, for lack of a better word, a messed up aura, right? No, this is your game. And the purpose of the game that's laid out with the obstacles and challenges in your aura is to figure out what tools you need to move to the next level. I really hope this video helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you, darlings, in the next video.